Hello everyone, my name is Soul and today I'm talking about Demon Slayer. If you know anything about me, you know that Demon Slayer was like one of my favorite anime in the most recent years, and recently I had the pleasure of going back to the movie theater. The first time I've been in a theater and I don't know how long, and I don't know what better movie to watch than Demon Slayer Majin Buu Train. And a couple of things to know before going into this film. One, this is actually like the correct continuation of Demon Slayer. It's like season 1, movie, season 2. Some anime do that. Sometimes I'm not a fan of that, but like it kind of just depends on like the arc and like what they're trying to tell. For this specific arc, like this worked perfectly for a movie, so I'm all for it. And, you know, it's probably going to happen more considering this made like $1 billion in Japan. And I was excited because Demon Slayer was already a gorgeous show. So once you put like movie budget on top of that, like I could only imagine how gorgeous it was going to be. But don't get like too excited. The first half of this movie really just felt like a continuation of Demon Slayer in like the perfect sense. It just felt like I was just watching the show. The comedy bits, the fights, I was like, okay, this is all just par for the course. This is just Demon Slayer in movie format. But around the second half, things heat up. There's a lot of character development. There's a lot of big moments, big fights, and the animation, it enters the greatest animation I've ever seen type of animation. I'm going to dive into plot now. Don't worry, I'm not going to go too spoilery, but I'm going to tiptoe around like some of the basic stuff. But if you want to go in blind, probably shouldn't continue. But if you don't care about very light spoilers, Tanjiro and the gang are trying to find out what's going on with a train. It is a train mystery movie. Basically, there are humans who are just disappearing on this train, so they assume a demon's behind it, so they send in our boy Rengoku, the Fire Hashira, and Tanjiro and the boys are his backup. And first, you kind of think, oh, they just gotta kill some demon, things will go back to normal. And it's not long into the movie that you find out that, yes, there is a demon who is kidnapping people from this train and killing them and eating them, doing what demons do. But he has a very interesting power. He can put you asleep and basically control you from your dreams. He can't control you specifically, but he can alter your dream however way he wants to. And we see our 4 heroes all kind of slip into their own histories, and each of these stories actually tells us something about them because their dreams, for the most part, are just what they want most. So we see Tanjiro, for instance, return to his family. He's back home, like Nezuko's fine, she's not a demon, and he's just like all happy. It's a very blissful moment. Not only are all of these super interesting and great insights for our characters, some of them, like, for instance, the gold boy, whose name I always forget, they're able to use some of the best comedy I've ever seen out of that character with this gag. Inosuke's story is also very comedical. Rengoku, he has a lot of character to build considering we know very little about him at this point, but by the beginning of this film, where I just saw Rengoku on the cover and I was like, oh, I guess he's in this film. And by the end of the movie, you realize, oh, this is Rengoku's movie. It's not even about Tanjiro. This is about our boy Rengoku. Rengoku for life. And even the way that they overcome these dreams, I pop for. I was in love with a lot of moments from this film. But I think my favorite part might have been like Tanjiro's dream, and on top of that, him escaping from his dream, and then the fight scene following that. Like, all of that was really great. I might have lied, though. I think my favorite moment we'll talk about in a little bit here. And there's a lot of other moving parts. Nezuko is doing her thing. There's a lot of good Nezuko moments. She is a perfect support character. Probably one of, if not my favorite character in this franchise. I love her. She's adorable. But as you can guess, we have a big showdown between the big demon guy and Tanjiro. And the demon guy kind of gets like a weird Kingdom Hearts power-up transformation thing. And I'm not a big fan of it just because it doesn't look that good. We see a lot of like CGI get involved, and you know, I've talked about CGI animes before. It's kind of a case-by-case scenario with me, and this is one of the cases where it just didn't necessarily look terrible, but it didn't look nearly as good as everything else on screen throughout the duration of this movie. It was a very noticeable CGI difference, and I think those are, in some cases, the worst kinds of CGI because they take you out of the immersion. You're suddenly like just looking at like CGI and you're just like, what is this? And yeah, that happened in this movie. I couldn't really get too invested in the fight scenes involving that guy's transformation, but you know, it's a small portion of the film. It's nothing to like really raise your nose at and scoff and I hate a Demon Slayer because there was 2% CGI. But once we get through that moment, there is more of a earnest battle, and that battle is badass. That battle is amazing. And that's not even the climax of the film. They pull out another big puzzle piece that's just thrown at you. I've seen some people complain that it did kind of just come out of nowhere. A small spoiler, they introduce a new villain. Rengoku gets really involved at this point. It's a big fight. That was probably the best moment of the film, let's be honest. That fight scene was gorgeous. That fight scene was amazing. There were so many intense moments. I could feel the intensity of the audience peering at this film. I miss the theaters, man. It was a fun time. And when I talk about character development, like, I don't just mean like the characters evolved. I mean, from start to finish, Rengoku started as this funny guy who had a good sense of who he was, and like then we learn more about why he's that way. Like, and then we start learning more of his quirks and more of his personality, and then we kind of see him buckle down and get serious when he has to. And we see him as a mentor for Tanjiro, even though he's not trained him a day in his life. But by the end of this film, he just feels like a cool older brother who's looking out for his younger pals. And I think he's probably within my top 5 characters at this point. And when you want to talk about big movie budget scenes, yeah, the end of this film captures and competes with all the other big anime films, the My Hero Academia films, Dragon Ball Broly, like everything you've seen in a theater that's anime. Everything that I thought I saw that topped epic anime in theater, yeah, it's in the back now. This is probably the greatest thing. That being said, so is this a 10 out of 10 film? Is this the anime film of a generation? Like, if you're talking about 10 out of 10 anime films, like, we'd probably have to get out of, like, the TV genre. We'd have to talk more about, like, Spirited Away and shit like that. So, no, this film is not going to compare to, like, some of the greatest films of all time. But for what it is, just a continuation of Demon Slayer and what otherwise was probably a somewhat uneventful arc, this was amazing. This was fantastic. A couple other things I want to talk about, just wrapping up here. I did watch this movie subbed, where I originally watched Demon Slayer dubbed. And a couple differences I noticed were Inosuke and the Gold Kid were a lot less annoying in sub. Nothing against the Kirito guy who voices Inosuke, but like he really bothered me in the dub. Like, not insufferably, but like compared to like the rest of the show, and like how I felt like those two characters kind of dragged it down a little bit. In this film, they completely were great sidekick characters. I actually laughed at every time that they did their traditional I'm horny and I'm an angry boar-headed kid. Every time they did those gags, I laughed, and they rewrote those jokes way better. But if you're not a Demon Slayer fan, obviously don't watch this film. Just go and watch Demon Slayer first. But if you did watch Demon Slayer, I'm going to guess that you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, then you're going to love this film. I'm going to give Demon Slayer Mugen Train an 8 out of 10. Soul badge of approval. This film kicks ass. It's currently my favorite film of 2020, even though I've seen not even 10 films from 2020 yet. Goddamn theaters not being open. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, with that, I leave you.